Welcome to Courtcraft. Today, we explore the life of one of basketball's most mysterious and transcendent figures, Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt was more than a player, he was a phenomenon. His life off the court was as dramatic as his domination on it, and understanding one helps explain the other. So let's dive into the story of a man who in many ways was bigger than the game itself. To begin, let's talk about Wilt's body, a masterpiece of human genetics. Standing 2.16 meters tall, with a 2.35 meter wingspan, he was built like Shaquille O'Neal, but moved with the agility of a guard. During his college days, reports say Wilt could run the 100 meters in 10.9 seconds. For reference, Kobe Bryant ran it in 11.2, and Michael Jordan in 10.7. That makes Wilt possibly the fastest player over 7 feet tall in basketball history. He could high jump around 1.99 meters, and some even claimed he could dunk from the free throw line. A rumor so wild, it supposedly led the NBA to ban players from crossing that line during free throws. Whether those tales were true or not, they show just how far beyond normal athletic limits Wilt really was. He had Shaq's size, Jordan's bounce, and a kind of raw, almost alien strength. Teammates and opponents told stories that bordered on myth. They said he could lift a full-grown man with one hand, or toss opponents aside like dolls. Even in retirement, he once picked up a grown man effortlessly, proving his strength was no exaggeration. By any measure, Wilt Chamberlain was perhaps the most physically gifted athlete in basketball history. But strength alone doesn't explain Wilt. He wasn't just a giant brute, he was fast, coordinated, and surprisingly graceful. In the 1960s, basketball was fast-paced, and Wilt fit that style perfectly. He thrived in transition, sprinting down the court, catching lobs, finishing with dunks or elegant finger rolls. He often started his own fast breaks, grabbing a rebound, dribbling a few steps, then passing ahead and sprinting for the return pass. His combination of speed and power was almost unfair. In half-court play, Wilt relied on bank shots, hook shots, and finger rolls, not just power moves. His touch around the rim was delicate for someone so massive. Still, he had weaknesses. His free throw percentage hovered around 50%, and his shooting touch, while creative, was inconsistent. Yet even with these flaws, his scoring ability was overwhelming. Between 1960 and 1964, Wilt entered a different realm, a period of pure statistical experimentation. He wasn't just trying to win, he was testing the limits of human performance. And the results? Almost unbelievable. He averaged 50.4 points and 25.7 rebounds per game in one season. He had another season with 44.8 points and 24.3 rebounds. He once scored 100 points in a single game, and others with 78, 73, and more. These weren't flukes, they were habits. Even in today's game, with all the spacing and scoring, nobody has come close. Critics said he was obsessed with stats, that he didn't care about team play. Maybe so, but the numbers themselves tell a story of dominance so complete, it redefined what one person could do in basketball. Even now, over half a century later, his records, especially that 100-point game and 50-point average, stand as untouchable monuments. Wilt's offense was unlike most centers. He wasn't always posting up and backing defenders down. He scored by moving, cutting, catching, and finishing at impossible angles. His height and reach let him shoot over anyone. He used finger rolls, reverse cuts, and timed leaps to avoid heavy contact. That's why he could score so efficiently without constantly battling in the paint. But when the game slowed down, he had his signature moves: the turnaround bank shot, the sky hook, and the fadeaway jumper off the glass. Some thought he relied too much on finesse, that he didn't use his power enough. Compared to Shaq or Kareem, Wilt often floated more than he fought. But that was his style: efficient, effortless, almost detached. If he played today, with modern training and systems, his combination of agility and height could make him a 35 to 40 point per game scorer easily. Wilt wasn't all offense. Defensively, he was a giant wall. His teams were often among the best in the league in defense, and his rim protection was legendary. Unlike Bill Russell, who jumped at everything, Wilt preferred to wait, to let you shoot, then rise and block your shot cleanly, sometimes catching the ball midair. In his later years, he became heavier and stayed closer to the basket, relying more on positioning than mobility. But when motivated, he could shut down anyone, even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at his peak. In the 1971 Western Finals, Kareem averaged almost 7 points less and shot nearly 10% worse when facing an aging Chamberlain. That's how powerful Wilt's defense could be when he cared. And then out of nowhere, Wilt decided to become a playmaker. In 1968, he led the entire league in assists, 703 in total, averaging 8.6 per game. A center had never done that before. He could pass from the high post, initiate offense, and even run handoffs and pick plays. Wilt's passing vision was as rare as his physique. Despite his staggering stats, Wilt's postseason legacy was complicated. In the regular season, he averaged about 30 points a game. In the playoffs, just 22. He had stretches of inconsistency, games where he disappeared at critical moments. In 1968 and 1969, his teams were strong enough to win it all, but he faltered in Game 7s, once scoring only 14 points, and another time leaving the court early, frustrated and withdrawn. He finally broke through in 1967, leading his team to the championship and defeating Bill Russell for the first and only time. But for most of his career, Wilt's focus seemed elsewhere. That's because Wilt didn't see basketball the same way others did. For Russell, every game was a battle, a test of manhood and will. For Wilt, basketball was a job, not a war. He once said, "Basketball is just a game, not my whole life." He loved cars, food, women, beaches, and freedom. He wasn't obsessed with trophies, he was obsessed with living. His personality was as large as his frame, charming, witty, confident, even arrogant. He acted in films, wrote books, and played professional volleyball. He was always curious, always exploring. Wilt Chamberlain didn't want to be remembered only as an athlete. He wanted to be remembered as a man who experienced everything life had to offer. In the end, Wilt Chamberlain was an anomaly, a man who broke the boundaries of sport and challenged how we define greatness. He wasn't the most successful player, but he might have been the most extraordinary. He was the mirror opposite of Bill Russell. Russell lived to win. Wilt lived to exist fully. He was the physical ideal, the statistical god, and the philosophical rebel of basketball. He transcended the game and became something else, a living legend of human potential. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.